Hello, Mrs. Dover. Thank you for meeting with me today.
Of course, I look forward to talking with you about Sarah and see what we can do to help her improve.
Yeah. All right, let's get started. I just wanted to start by saying that Sarah is an absolute joy to have in my class. She's always engaged in the lesson and always tries to give everything. She gives everything her best effort. She can be a little bit chatty sometimes, but she knows when it is appropriate and when that it's time to listen and to turn off the voice, I guess.
That's so great to hear. She truly does love school, and I can tell she's really trying, even though her grades don't always show that. If you can think of any strategies I can help her with at home to improve her grades, that'd be very great.
Of course. That's actually what we're going to be talking about today. Throughout the trimester 1, I've been conducting a few reading assessments for Sarah. I assessed Sarah on the following areas. I assessed her on fluency, spelling, vocabulary, and comprehension. I wanted to start by discussing Sarah's fluency and comprehension assessments. I had Sarah read aloud a short passage and answer a few questions afterwards. Sarah's a great reader, and I really do believe she loves to read. And she does it fairly often in her free time. As I had Sarah read, I took small notes on the side and found out Sarah's actually pretty fluent for her reading level and for her age. The one area that I think that she could use some improvement is her speed. She often reads too quickly, and sometimes that causes her to skip words, mispronounce words, and ignore punctuation. And this can often influence her comprehension since she's focusing on sounding fluent versus what the text actually says.
That makes a lot of sense. Often when Sarah reads aloud to me, she sounds great, but afterwards, when we discuss the reading, it's like she didn't even read it. I think that Sarah gets nervous when reading aloud, causing her to speed up.
Yeah. I've thought of a few strategies that we can do at school and that you can do at home. One strategy that I think that would help Sarah is choral reading. Choral reading is when 2 or more students read a selected passage in unison. I believe this will help her slow down her reading and her speed and give her confidence when reading aloud. I think that implementing this strategy in our classroom more often to help Sarah would be really beneficial for her.
That sounds great. Is there anything I can do at home?
Yes, actually, this is a whisper phone. A student can put it up to their ear and read aloud in a soft whisper tone. It can help students hear the pace of their reading and the formation of the words themselves. I'm going to send it home with you guys, and you can help Sarah use it when she's reading independently. Just monitor that she's using it, and then if she feels comfortable using the tool, we actually have a few in the classroom too. I would really love it if you made sure she was using it and that every day for at least a little bit.
That sounds great, like a great tool. Sarah is always looking for ways to improve. As a student, I think she'll be more than willing to try the whisper phone at home.
Good. I was able to observe Sarah's comprehension as well, using that same reading passage that I assessed her fluency on. After she read the short passage, I had her answer several multiple choice and short answer questions. One thing that I was really impressed with Sarah's comprehension was her ability to think aloud, especially during the multiple choice questions. When answering the questions, she would read the answer out loud and validate if it was the correct answer. At one point, she even answered a question incorrectly. She was a little uncertain about the answer in the first place, so she reread all the questions and the answers, and then she found a better fit answer for that question. I like that Sarah was able to analyze the question, and she really showed some deep thinking. One area that I would like to see improvement is in Sarah's comprehension. By having her use context clues and prior knowledge. When answering a short answer question, she often doesn't go back to the text to find evidence to support her answer. I also think that relating the text to Sarah's life helps her better understand what she's reading. Asking questions to stimulate prior knowledge would really help comprehend the text.
I can see that. Sometimes Sarah's answers seem like she made them up in her head instead of finding them in the reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That will be something that I'll be working on in the classroom. I believe that all of my students could benefit from going back to the text and finding evidence and context clues, so I will be incorporating that into our schedule. From now on, I'm going to have students underlined the evidence when they're reading a text so that I can go back to see where they got that answer from. I could also I like when my students include page numbers and specific quotes from the text so that I know that they're not just making them up and that they're going back. If I do this often enough, I think Sarah will be able to do this on her own and not always have to go back and underline things. It'll just be common sense for her to go back to text to see what she's been doing. I also think that it would be helpful for you to activate prior knowledge when reading with Sarah at home. Before, during, and after reading a book, you can ask Sarah questions to gain her interest, as well as connect the book to her life and make it relevant. For example, when I read the reading passage with Sarah, it was about leap year. And I started off before we even read the book by asking, do you know what leap year is? Or do you know how often a leap year happens? And this really gauged how Sarah's understanding or prior knowledge before she started the text. So she kind of maybe got some words that she might not have known, and then when she started reading, it helped her be able to better comprehend it. So if you could be able to do that at home with her, that would be really helpful to her.
Yeah, definitely. Sarah and I don't read together very often, but I'll definitely add it into our routine at home.
Yeah. Another assessment that I believe that I assessed Sarah was in vocabulary. Sarah actually really enjoyed this assessment, and after having her define the words, she often would ask me to define them for her to know the true definition, which can really show me that she's really eager to learn in this area. Sarah relies heavily on prior knowledge when defining vocabulary words, but she doesn't always use critical thinking to determine if she actually knows the word and the actual meaning of the word. For example, when I asked her what the word territory meant, she immediately said, it's a place where wolves live. This could be true in the context where she was first introduced to the word, but she doesn't make the connection that maybe a territory is where any kind of living animal or person can live. To help Sarah enrich her vocabulary, we're going to introduce new graphic organizers in the classroom. Graphic organizers such as semantic feature analysis or predictogram can really help students learn new vocabulary words. A semantic feature analysis is an organizer where students compare words and their meanings in a text. This could help Sarah see words and their similar meanings, and could help her before she is introduced to the words in the text. A predictogram is a tool used before reading, and it's where a teacher creates a bank of words on the board or on a paper, and the students sort them into characters, setting, plot, problem, or resolution. This kind of introduces the words before the students read it, and can really help them define keywords that they might not know, helping them better understand the reading. I will be implementing these organizers into our reading lessons.
I think that'll help Sarah gain a better understanding of what the text might be about before beginning the reading. Can I do anything similar at home?
Yeah, one strategy I was thinking would help Sarah at home is to have her identify unknown words. Like every night when she's doing her reading independently, have her challenge her to find 5 to 10 words that she might not know and pull them out of the text. You can later have her define those words using a dictionary, and you can go as far as implementing those words into your everyday vocabulary so that you can see when they're properly used.
That's a great idea. We could even do a word of the day, and I could challenge her to use that word in a conversation at least once that day.
I love that idea. I think if we both implement our strategies into Sarah's vocabulary, that she'll grow immensely. Lastly, I assessed Sarah's spelling and found that she's great at sounding out words. She does wonderfully on her classroom spelling test, and I can tell it really means a lot to her, and she's obviously practicing at home. She struggled a little bit with words that had more difficult endings, such as pleasure, civilize, and fortunate. I will be incorporating similar words into our unit spelling tests.
Okay, I look forward to seeing her progress.
Yeah. Well, that is about all that I wanted to discuss with you. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. I think that we have created some very helpful goals for Sarah, and I'll do my best to help her improve her literacy skills.
Great, I will do the same. It was so great talking to you, Mrs. Dover. I appreciate you coming in. Have a great afternoon.